Okay, the topic we're working on today is called constant rate of change. And this is the code ZPF on your 8th grade IXL. And let's read the question. This graph shows how the cost of Turner's picnic depends on the number of attendees. Okay, and the question says, what is the rate of change? Well, rate of change and constant rate of change is the same thing as the slope. We want to make sure that we remember that constant rate of change and slope are synonymous, which means that they can be used interchangeably. If I say constant rate of change, it really means the same thing as slope. And when we're solving for slope, especially on a graph, what we're looking for is rise over run. So let's look at our graph and let's select a couple of points that intersect on the grid. So let's start with this one right there, that point. And let's find the next point that intersects. It looks like it's this one. So how much are we rising? We're rising $2. And how much are we running? $1. So 2 over 1 simplifies to 2. So the slope or the constant rate of change is $2 per attendee. Let's jump up a level. Okay, it looks like there is no levels. All of them are the same level. So let's just do 3 or 4 of these. So what's the rate of change? Let's pick a point. This time we'll pick this one because it intersects on the grid. And the next one that intersects on the grid is this one. And I like to check the next one to make sure that they're the same distance. So what is my rise over my run? My constant rate of change. My rise is 1. My run is 2 units. Since we're dealing with tens, it'll still simplify to 1/2. So it's going to be 1/2 of a minute per shirt when we simplify it down. Okay, well, it looks like they're only accepting decimals. So this is good for you to see because I did not know that. So if you put in a fraction, it's going to be wrong. You need to put in 0.5. And I think it's because you're dealing with real life situations. And right here it says write your answer as a decimal or integer. So apparently the coding in this program doesn't let you select fractions, but let's move ahead any rate. Okay, so what is the rate of change as a decimal? Okay, let's pick our 2 points. Here's one, bop. And here's one, bop. What's a rise over run? Since we're dealing in units of 10, could do it either way. We could do groups of 10 or just groups of 1. We'll simplify it. So we have 1, 2, 3 units over 1, 2 units. So this is the same thing as 1/2. And 1/2 as a decimal is 1.5. If you're not sure how to do that, you can plug it into a calculator. You could do it like this, 3 divided by 2. Either way, you'll get 1/2, 1.5. 1.5. All right, let's do one more problem here, okay? So constant rate of change, aka slope. Pick our points on the graph. We have one here, and we have another one here that intersects. And they're all the same all the way up. So what is a rise over run? Rise of 2 units and a run of 1 unit. So our slope, whoops, is 2 over 1, which is just 2. $2 per guest. Now, the one thing I want to show you real quick, let's say you get an answer and it's in dollars. I remember doing this earlier in the year. But let's say you simplify and you get 0.3. If you're dealing with money and you enter 0.3 in, it's going to mark it wrong. And the reason why is because zero point 0.3 doesn't make sense in the world of money. You would have to put 0.30, which is 30 cents. So that's just a little tip. Make sure that if you're dealing with money, coins, that you make sure you're putting the zero here at the end to make it make sense. In other words, too, and if I give you another example, if you had 1.1 and you're dealing with money, this is the dollar and 10 cents. So you can't put 1.1, you have to put 1.10.